Happy New Year, my dudes. 2022 has arrived, hopefully leaving behind the pandemic of 21. 25 books come in from CGC pre-screen moderns that I sent 3 weeks ago. But go figure, I got them back, even though I got books back there from July that I haven't received. I'm eagerly awaiting. Been awaiting. I don't know how hot they're going to be now. I do have some really nice books that are supposed to be coming too, but I don't know how long that's going to take anyway. Danny P was asking me, hey, you haven't done an update on The Witcher, and here is going to be my update, Danny. So, I covered an 8.5 that was on eBay. It was up for $500. And, yeah, it sold for $500. Only one bid. Surprisingly, though. Very surprised. I wonder why The Witcher doesn't really get any love. But remember this about collectors, okay? Anything can turn somebody around, and The Witcher is known worldwide. I believe in The Witcher. I believe in The Witcher, and I believe so much into this property that, yes, I bought that book. One bid. I was actually waiting on somebody to outbid me, and nobody outbid me because I was waiting to go up on my bid. I was willing to go up to 600, to tell you the truth, right? This will not be a book that I keep. I will be keeping the 9.4. There are only 7 books of this particular Witcher book. This comic book is comics number 26. One of the reasons that I believe anyway, that collectors aren't going after this book is because they don't know it exists. At least I don't think they do, because they collect other stuff that's Witchers and they pay good money for. But the comic book, yeah, they haven't really gone after the comic book. And like I said, this is a property that's known worldwide. Different countries, different languages. In the United States, it's just really catching on and hasn't caught on like it has in Europe, let's say, yet, or Asia, but it is catching on in the United States. So this is pretty much a very young property in the United States, brought up by video games, not novels, you know. And this is a novel property, right? Witcher is a character that I didn't know about, but when I first watched that first season, I got into it. And so much so that I researched to see if there were any comic books, and lo and behold, I've covered this book like maybe 3 or 4 times already. So, 7 books are graded in CGC. I've said before that I believe that if I would be very, very surprised if CGC even grades 100 copies of this book. I will be very surprised. I'm probably going to have graded at least 20 copies because so far I've graded 6 of the 7 that exist in CGC. Somebody else beat me out to another one. Well, not beat me, but sent another book out of this book. This is the first comic book based storyline of The Witcher from 1993. Witcher came out in 1986 in a fantasy magazine, but not a comic book. It was just a little piece of a novel. It was for a contest, Fantastyka #1. That book cannot be graded. It's a little bit too big for the CGC holders. But I have sold 2 of my CGC grades. My lower grades of comics number 26 are sold. But I now own the 4 highest grades, and I'm going to own some more. So the 7.5 is mine, 8.5 is now mine. 8.5, I paid 500, one bid, one bid. And with taxes and shipping fees, it was like right around a little bit less than 550. It was like 540 something, 547, I want to say. So it was a little bit expensive. It was 5 something, less than 550, which I think it's a bargain for this book. I mean, there's not too many of these around. And in this type of grade, that's a very fine plus for that book. Even the 7.5 is hard to find. There's only one 7.5 around. Only one 8.0. There's no 8.0. 8.5. There's no 8.0s. There's only one 9.0. The two highest right now are the 9.0 and the 9.4. The 4 highest, you see them right here. And I'm about to have some more that are probably going to be in the 9s. I think. Okay, can I get a 9.8 on this baby? I don't know, man. I don't know if I can. But I think I got shots. But the 9.4, man, I love it regardless. So, but the good thing and the bad thing too, I guess it's good for me because I hold a monopoly on the high grades, but it's also bad for everybody else because if you want a high grade like this, you're gonna have to pay for it. I'm not gonna let it go for less than whatever I plan to let it go for, right? I'm just not, and I don't mind holding stuff. So, but what I am not gonna do is I'm not gonna put it out for something that I don't believe is worthy of that particular book. The Witcher is a property that in Poland, right? This book anyway, I'm talking about. When they put out these comic books, there's no doubt in my mind the majority of the citizens there, the residents, the people that bought these, probably threw them out, maybe recycled them. I don't know, but I don't believe that there's too many of these that exist, and if they do, they're gonna be in low grade. Or maybe you'd be lucky to get something in mid-grade, maybe 6.5. I think it'll be really competitive now to find something in high grade, because you're going to be competing with the likes of probably me to get it, because I don't mind just having 20 of these in high grade. Now there's some low grades right now on eBay that you can get, and I mean, even those are rare. So again, I don't mind holding on to these. I think with time, The Witcher's just gonna keep getting more and more popular. Another game is gonna be coming out from The Witcher eventually. Hopefully CD Projekt Red doesn't mess that up the way they did Cyberpunk. But they didn't mess up the last game. Last game took off. So did the game before that, I didn't play those games, by the way, but my son did. He played the last one. He loved it. All right. So let's get to this unboxing. And as far as the series goes, yeah, man, I can't wait to watch the entire series. We started watching the series. We watched first 3 episodes, I believe, but then we got to get together and watch the rest. But it is a great series. I wouldn't say that I'm loving the Witcher series as much as I did Game of Thrones, especially those first few seasons. But I gotta tell you, it's kind of close for me. It's very close. I love the series. The reason we're not watching it is because of this pandemic. So we watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, but then we got to get back together again. Quite honestly, we're just being careful. We do get together and make it an event, but in this current climate, you got to be a lot more careful, which is the reason why. Like say a book like this, I was digging out for this book, right? Paulie D is going to be getting this book. Paulie D actually he emailed me, he has Son of the Demon already. He's read it. But he doesn't have this, Batman Dead Man. I got to give you credit, my friend. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for letting me know that you have it. You could have just said, hey man, I don't have it, and got the Son of the Demon. I would have mailed it to you anyway. But yeah, this is another really great read, Batman Dead Man. While I was digging for it, it's a hardcover too. The artwork. When I first look at this artwork, you would think that it's Breyfogle, right? Check this out. See, it's like painted art. But it's this guy right here, John Estes. This is a crazy read, man. Crazy read. I hope you like it. I have to find the chalice. I have multiples of these, so don't worry about it. I have multiples of Batman Dead Man, and I do have multiples of the chalice also, because I love that story. So I always bought multiples just in case something ever happened to the main issue. But while I was looking for it, I found these 3 books, and these are just like, say this one and the House of M, they're just taking, they're taking space in my collection. So I'm gonna send these out to Mr. Kendra, even though I don't think they need a press. But actually, you know what, they do. See that? It's not color breaking, but you could see a little bit on this one. And this one has a little bit of a spine fold right there. I'm just gonna get them graded and let them go. They have a little bit of value on it, so on them right now. This one, however, this one is my reading copy of Batman 404. I kept it in beautiful condition, and it is a newsstand copy. It's still in its old bag, and it looks beautiful. You see that? That's the bag that you're seeing right there. So one of the best stories of all time. It's Frank Miller's Year One. One of the top 2 best stories of all time, in my opinion, comic book stories of all time. If you guys ever want to read those. But that one's going to go into my collection. I've sent multiple copies of Batman 404 before they get graded. Never received a 9.8. I do have a 9.6 somewhere, old 9.6 that hasn't been pressed. When I find it, I'm gonna break it, send it to Mr. Kendra, and then see what he could do with it. All right, let's open this baby up. I'll find the chalice, and you will get the chalice as well. Great reads, going for Paulie D. All right. Okay, 22 out of 25 books come back, 9.8. Very excited about this because there's one book that I'm super excited about. And then there's a couple books in here that are pretty nice specs that I gotta think about selling right now. I don't want to sell one in particular, and I probably won't, but I need the cash. You guys let me know what you would do with it. I'll show you guys which one it is. All right, let's start opening this up. You know, I love the contributions on the message boards. I love going through message boards, my channel and other channels too. I like it. And every now and then you get to a comment that, you know, it's very interesting, like the way, because Danny P is a young collector, you know. So he was writing that it's sometimes very confusing in certain books that have these extraordinary print runs. Say Berserker had a print run of like 600,000 or whatever it was. Something's Killing the Children number 16 and number 21. You know, their print runs, I'm assuming 21 is going to have a print run of 200,000 copies. So what book do you really go after? Like, it's very confusing to collectors or to young collectors what book to go after. Berserker, I recommended Berserker when it first came out. I was the only one covering Berserker. There was no one covering Berserker when it came out. Before it came out, I should say. But I would have never recommended it if I knew that the print run was going to be 500,000. Berserker was going to be a massive hit, guys. It was going to be massive. I mean, not that it wasn't. 600 print run is a massive hit. When I'm talking about massive hit, is I should be holding in my hand a $400 book, probably, for as big as this book ended up being, right? The reason I'm not holding that is because of the pandemic. Because when the pandemic hit, they delayed the print. They delayed the print of Berserker number 1. And when they delayed it so much, it was delayed like 4 months. That Boom ended up coming out with, it was a 1 in 100. Then they came out with a 1 in 200, 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000, and then everybody went crazy because they wanted that 1 in 1,000 signature for Keanu Reeves, making this particular book now a $50 book. It's a $50 book in a 9.8 instead of a $400 book or more in a cover A. Now, this is going to be my most profitable book, and I didn't even think that it would be that. One of the reasons that I say to you guys, stay away from the incentives, right, of 99% of the moderns, it's because you're already paying a premium for that incentive. You're paying a premium. You're paying already into it. There's no sense in you going after that if you're going to overpay for it already. So with this book, one, I got them for cheaper than cover price, and it's going for $50. So this will be my only Berserker that's probably going to be profitable for me, unless I hold this book forever and hope, but now I'm counting on hope, that the book ends up being huge 30 or 40 years from now, as a book like, say, X-Men or Deadpool is, you know, or even Amazing Spider-Man 365. The only difference with those books and these books now is that the condition of those books back then to now. Back then, there was still a lot of kids that weren't taking care of their books, which is the reason why there's certain books that you don't have the great number of 9.8s, like the 365. You don't have the great number of 9.8s that a 361 has. Amazing Spider-Man, right? Or a Deadpool, you know. This book, I'll take the $50 for it, and at least cancel some of my losses that I'm going to have on those 1 in 100s, especially the ones that I was cheated on from comics exposures who didn't even mail me the 1 in 100s, and I can't even get my money back from my credit card company because of the delays that were so much, and it was a pre-order. It's falling way behind, you know, the time periods that I could request a refund. It was a to say it was a nightmare. It's to give it credit, really. I mean, this one here, I think I paid 20 bucks for this, maybe. I think I paid 20 bucks for this. And then these were, man, I paid over 100 bucks for these. Over 100 bucks. These are the ones I got from Stadium Comics. I think it's called Stadium Comics. That's a good company. I've bought from them afterwards because of what they did. You know what they did for me? They sent me these, then they sent me extras. Matter of fact, you know what? I think this one was an extra that they sent. And they also sent me some Something's Killing the Children number 11's variants, you know. So Stadium Comics, even though they sold me these at those current the prices that it was going for at the time that I purchased, right, which was over 100 bucks for these, for the packs. Yeah, they kind of made it up to me with the other books, and maybe some of those books came back in 9.8. There's Something's Killing the Children in 11s, so they'll be able to offset some of the losses of the 1 in 100 Berserkers that, you know, it's probably $100 book now, graded, but now I paid to get those graded, and we're going to find out how much the price was. Probably going to be around $22, I'm assuming. I went on a lot about this Berserker thing, but, you know, Berserker has not been good for me. Not been good for me, but it was mostly because of Boom Studios. They didn't keep... I'm not going to say their word, you know. Their job is to sell comics, but, you know, it was, in a way, dishonest, really, you know, to do what they did because of what people ended up doing with those books, what companies ended up doing, you know, resellers ended up doing with those. Resellers meaning comic book stores ended up doing with those books afterwards, and what they did to pretty much make the original pre-sales worthless, you know. All right, next one. See, this is still part of the Grail Project. Second book now from the Grail Project, Berserker. So these are going to be two winners of the Grail Project. This one I thought was going to be a loser. It's going to end up being a winner. This one is going to end up being a winner because it's been a winner already. All 10 of the Virgins from Venom 29 came back in 9.8, and guess what? They've all sold well, and I have no reason to believe that this one won't do the same. And it was pretty much a cover buy, man. I'll tell you what I've been doing with these. I've been selling them on my comic shop in their weekly auctions is what I've been doing. People aren't buying them in buy it nows, so I put them in auctions, and what the heck, see what they go for. Now usually they really won't go for what you want them to go for. Just because somebody has something for sale, say on eBay for a buy it now $150 doesn't mean it's gonna sell for $150. You know, I've had it for sale. I had it for sale for I forget the prices that I put in, but I just said, you know what, I'll put them in as auctions, and I did pretty decent for you know, for it, like for what I paid. Did pretty decent for it, and I knew I would because of the cover. Sometimes people just love the covers. Sometimes that's what it is, and they just want to hang it and put it somewhere. it's been good. So all 5 of these will be going to my comic shop, and they're going to be sold in those auctions. You know, yeah. So these are 2 winners from the Grill Project. I got plenty of losers there, believe me, and you will see them. Next one. When Gun Honey came out, it came out hot, steaming hot right out of the press. But as moderns tend to do, specifically these indie moderns from Titan Comics, this was, it's simmered down quite a lot from the beginning, right? I went after the Sienkiewicz cover, but I went after the foil cover that's by Comic Mint. It's a spectacular cover. I had to clean it because fingerprints get on this cover like you wouldn't believe, okay? So I actually had to clean it myself with a cotton swab to get the fingerprints out. And I put a note on it, please handle with care, because fingerprints stick to it, and both of them came back in 9.8s. This would be a winner for me because it's still doing well, and anything that's Bill Sienkiewicz, he's still hot. He's still a hot artist, and I mean, look at that. That foil does really stand out. This will be in my comic shop for sale. I gotta see how much I'm gonna put it up for sale for, but they're both gonna go to my comic shop. This is a Comic Tom special right here. Saw this in Comic Tom actually. This is a Momoko, United States of Captain America #4. This is an America Chavez cover by Momoko. It's a very rare cover, so they say, 1 in 25. So because of Comic Tom, I believe this is going to have a little bit of interest, you know. I didn't go after this cover though. These are both YouTube auction finds. I'll tell you where I bought them and how much. So this one right here was from Sands, but I wasn't going after that book. He had a cap lot, cap #6, and that's with Bucky Barnes on the cover. So I went after that cover because that's the first Winter Soldier. $150. He threw in a cap #4 Momoko. So I said, you know what the heck, I'll take the Momoko too. So what he gives me nothing but like heat, that guy, you know. Quite a few 9.8s I've gotten from Sands already. I mean, not everything's going to be 9.8s. I got a few books, big books, that I'm sending to Mr. Kendra that do need a good press and a good clean. But I'm always happy with Sands books, always, and he's truthful about them also. But this one right here is going to go into that 150 to pay for that cap, you know. So whatever I get out of this book, it's going to be gravy, whatever I get out of it. That's going to be sent to my comic shop next week. This one is the one that I'm going to need your help on, guys, because I really want to sell this. Truthfully, I want to sell this. But the spec side in me says, keep it. This is Avengers Arena #1. I want to sell it because it's still hot. Matter of fact, I think it might be getting... Nah, you know what? It's not getting hot because it's been hovering around $200 for the longest. This has a whole bunch of first appearances. One of them is Cullen Bloodstone, which is part of the Bloodstone family. And the other one is Kid Britain. Let me see what else has... Let me see who is in here. And obviously, I'm not going to know the names, but Apex, Anna, what the... Kid Britain, Era, Death Locker. Okay. Well, it's a whole bunch of first appearances, okay? Should I keep it or not? This may or may not pan out in the future, but how long do you wait? How long do you wait? There's no way that this book had a huge printing. Impossible. Avengers Arena with unknown characters has to be a lower print run for Marvel. The lower print run for Marvel also means probably 40,000, which is still not bad. You know, maybe less than 40,000. I don't even know. I should check Comic-Con, but I'm not going to. Should I keep this or should I not? What would you do? What would you do? This one I got from Strictly's auction. I believe it was Strictly's, but it was from Rag718. I also got a Bloodstone from him. Bloodstone #1. That one is going to get pressed and cleaned though. I got an Avengers #7 that's going to be going pressed and clean. And I also have an Illuminati 1 through 5. I thought the 1 might be a 9.8, but it failed. That's one of the failures that's in here, that Illuminati. But for this Avengers Arena and for the Illuminati, it was a spec, lot that he had. Only $25. I already paid for that with this book alone. So everything else in there is just gravy. Everything in there is gravy. Now, because this is a $200 book, probably $225. I would say $200. I put it up for $200 today. It'll sell. So I'm already in the black. And the Avengers #7, that one needs a press though. That one does need a press, but I'm very happy with it already. These are 2 books that were extras. 1 will be sold. 1 still waiting. Please let me know your comments. I might hang on to this one. Might hang on to that. I think I will. Okay. Next lot that I have. Oh no, you know what? Yeah. Next lot. I'll do the next lot. A month ago, I went to a local comic shop. Not my local comic shop, a local comic shop that I usually don't go to because he doesn't work with you on prices. However, I'd looked through the store and I found some books. And the good thing about finding books in a comic book store is that you could really inspect them. Now, he wouldn't let me take them out of the bags. But like I've always told you guys, a lot of times you could tell just by the spine how good that book is. You can hold it up against the light to see if it has a spine fold or a bend, and you hold it up against the light to see if it has any creases. And I did that with all the books that I selected. And yes, even though I missed some defects on some of them once I got home and I saw them, for the most part, I got a bunch of 9/8s from them. Okay. Some of them I didn't send because they need presses, and I'm going to be sending them out to get pressed if they warrant. The value warrants it anyway. If the value for that particular book warrants it, Damian Wayne is going to warrant it, in my opinion, because I think I can get a 9/8 with a good press. Anyway, I paid $290 for this lot. $290, because there was one big book there that I've always wanted in a 9/8, and I got the 9/8 on it. So this was well worth it. This right here is probably about $100 book, I would say. This is an Alex Ross cover. I might throw this out in an auction for my comic shop. See what I get out of it. I paid $15 plus whatever the grading is going to be here. So, yeah, I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to do with it, but chances are I'm going to put it in an auction. Okay, this is the Mary Jane and the Iron Spider suit. that was just a cover buy for me, and it looked like a 9.8, and it turned out to be a 9.8. So I figured, you know what, took a gamble on the 9.8. Spider-Man 2, this was just counting on the Spider-Verse movie, and I got the 9.8 on it, so this is also going to get sold. This one is going to be kept, though. This is the Dynamic Forces, Guardians of the Galaxy #5. This is limited to 3,000 copies worldwide. Okay, printed 3,000. I don't know. I don't really know how many are in 9.8s. All right, but I would assume there's a few. I would assume there's probably more than 100 9.8s on this. Has to be, right? But then again, it is a book from 2013. It is Dynamic Forces. May or may not be. I'm not entirely sure about that. But I'm happy to have it. I am happy to have it. And I'm going to keep it for now. This is the next, no, not the next biggest book, the third highest, biggest book. First Quake in a 9.8. Now, I had my own copies of Quake, and one of them failed in 9.8, but this one didn't make it. I also bought a second printing of this that did not make the 9.8, and that's one of the failures here. But to have the first Quake in a 9.8, yeah, $290 so far, that's making it worth it. And then this one makes it worth it as well, because I think this will be a hot book. This is a good book to spec on. Okay, Wolfman, #1 by Robert Kirkman. Anything that Kirkman touches is turning into gold, and we might see this guy right here in the next Invincible, or in one of the Invincible series. Whenever we do, I am going to sell this. So that's why and then the coup de grace. Yeah, baby. 1 in 100. Hardware #1. This is the Platinum Edition. I bought this for $90. Originally, he told me it was $75, but when he brought it down, it was $90 tag on it. And he said, it's $90. And I looked at it really well, and I said, all right, I'll give you the $90, because he wouldn't budge. So I gave him $90 for it. This book fluctuates because hardware is not hot. There's nothing on them right now on any Milestone property. I don't think, is there any spec on it? But it fluctuates. I've seen this 3 months ago for 3 or 4 months ago go for $700. There's one out on eBay right now for $400, and then another one sold, I think, last month for $300. So it fluctuates so much. But if this ever becomes anything, it's a 1 in 100 platinum of hardware. This will go through the roof. So this is the best book of this entire bunch, even though one sold recently for $300 in an auction on eBay, but I'm not selling it for $300. I could tell you that. No way. We're holding on to this baby until DC does something with Milestone, which, by the way, they're supposed to be doing soon, I think. But there's rumors on that. Rumors. Holding it anyway. Okay. Some of these will be getting sold, though. A lot of these, this lot is going to get sold. So that's why I kind of like this box. And we're going to go through the numbers. All right, boys. So this is the 3 failures. Berserker #1, which I really don't care. I got 15 of them. Star Wars. This one is a 1 in 25. Trail of Shadows #1. I was hoping this one would come back a 9.8. It's just a spec book, but I might send this out to get pressed, and to Mr. Kendra when I send them out soon. And Illuminati #1. I thought this would be a 9.82. I might send this out also to get pressed, maybe. All right. So numbers. Shipping to CGC was $11.89. I got billed $488.40. Total cost $529. Divided by 22 books. Of course, we are taking all the misses onto the 9.8 books. All right, so we don't count losses on these books. We just take the losses on the actual grading. So it's going to be $22.74 per book to get graded. So yeah, that little trip to the comic book shop ended up being good. Just this book alone. First of all, this used to be a $300 and change book. It has since come down to in the $200 range. Probably about $220. Even in the 200s I've seen it. However, one just sold December 24th on my, it sold on eBay from my comic shop for $260. So on my comic shop it must have been maybe $230, $225, but somebody bought it on eBay for $260. So it's still commanding some cash. That one has sold for $300 and $400. Didn't check the prices on this, but yeah, ended up being good. This one's going to go out to get sold. This one's going to go out to get sold. I might send the Quake out, maybe. I'm not sure. That one's staying with me, and Angela is going to stay with me for the time being. It's going to stay with me. 3,000 print run. I gotta see what's going on. A lot of these books are going to get sold though. But I mean, look, that book paid for the entire lot, in my opinion, of the $290, right? And then everything I get out of the rest of the books is gravy. There might be some gravy in that once I decide to sell it. Might be some gravy in that, unless I really do decide to keep it, which I might, because it's for something that rare, especially in a high grade too. I might just decide to keep that book, maybe. But this right here is now essentially costing me $22.74. So hopefully that'll sell for more than, I wouldn't say $22.74, because then there's a selling fee as well, but you get the point. Listen, have a good night, my boys. Happy New Year to everybody, and later, dudes.